Hello, and welcome to
Papi Approved Movies.
My name is Papi.
And I'm Natalie.
In our podcast, we'll review and critique my favorite PG-13 movies.
Movies that I wasn't allowed to watch until I turned 13.
Every other week, Natalie and I will watch a new PG-13 movie.
And I'll see if Papi's movies live up to the hype.
Which, of course, they will.
Today we're going to be watching Dirty Dancing.
Before we begin, there will be spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie and don't want it to be spoiled,
press pause and come back when you're finished. Now, Papi, tell me the deets on this movie.
Okay. Natalie, welcome back to our newest season of Papi Approved Movies. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah?
I'm sleepy.
You're sleepy?
Mm-hmm.
You should be in school by now, so hopefully you're not too sleepy. So we won't have any more season breaks. This is the beginning of our new format. Last week we heard Sophia's first episode, and next week we'll hear her second. But
did you listen to the announcements like we told you to?
We hope so, because we should be giving away tote bag after tote bag after tote bag, which are pretty nice. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the movie. Dirty Dancing came out in 1987 with a runtime of 1 hour and 40 minutes. It's streaming on Tubi. It was written by Eleanor Bergstein and directed by Emil Ardolino. Main stars are Patrick Swayze, Jennifer Grey, and Jerry Orbach. Fun facts, both Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey did all their own dancing. The only time Grey used a stunt double is the log scene. Swayze didn't, and he fell off a few times and even hurt his knee. The soundtrack is one of the most famous of all time and spent 18 weeks on the Billboard Top 200. Time of My Life even won an Oscar. So what do you think, Nat?
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
Some of it was confusing.
Okay.
Like, there was the whole part where, like, his dance partner was like, you need to end things, but, like, it didn't make sense.
Why?
Because, like, why? But then, like, he didn't end anything. Like,
yeah, he didn't want to.
Like, I don't understand if they were dating or not.
No, I don't think he and Penny were.
Because then why would he force him to end it?
Because of what happened. If they find out, he gets fired. Like, one of the first scenes you see of Johnny, Max tells me, don't date any of the guests,
okay,
or you'll get fired. And so I think Penny just wanted to make sure he didn't get fired.
Oh, okay.
But you did enjoy it?
It was good, but it wasn't my favorite movie.
What do you rate it?
I gave it 4 stars.
4 stars? You did like it then, huh?
Yeah, but not too much.
Not too much. When I was doing the recap, so I try to keep the recap around the same length every time. Mm-hmm. It came up so short. So short. Because there's not that much that happens in the movie. A lot of dirty dancing. A lot of inappropriate. We'll talk about that. But not much goes on. So, a pretty simple plot. I think that's why it was nice.
It was a little bit boring in my opinion, though.
Did you? You thought it was boring?
Yeah.
I could see that.
Like, really nothing happened at all.
No, just some dancing. Well, it is called Dirty Dancing.
Why don't we get into the recap?
Okay. The movie begins with a Hausman family. A doctor, his wife, and their 2 daughters, Lisa and Baby.
Who names their child Baby?
No, her name is Frances, remember?
Oh, but why would you call her Baby? That's weird.
That's her nickname.
But it has nothing to do with her real name.
Well, because she's a baby, maybe.
Aren't her and her sister, like, almost the same age?
They look alike. They look the same age, but I think Lisa's supposed to be older.
Lisa's character was also strange.
Yeah.
Why was she even there?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess to prove that Robbie's a creep, but then, he's a creep from what he did with Penny, so.
Yeah.
I didn't actually even talk about her pretty much after that. Only like 2 scenes. Anyways, they're all going to a summer resort for 3 weeks. That's quite cool, how a little camp place and they go to resort. Yeah. They're greeted by the camp director, Max, and Billy.
Usually in these movies, like, the parents are gone after, like, the whole, like, dropping off scene. Oh. But, like, they were there the whole time. It was, like, a family resort.
Yeah, it's like a family resort. So all the families go there. They've been going there from forever. They're greeted by the camp director, Max, and Billy, one of the employees, gets their bags. Max introduces them to his son, Neil, who's studying to take over the business. He also introduces Robbie, their waiter, who's going to medical school in the fall. Guy's a jerk. We find out later.
But he's a smart jerk.
Yeah, because I think it was Yale Medical School.
Yeah.
They go to merengue dance lessons taught by Penny. Baby isn't very good and seems kind of bored. Baby overhears Max yelling at Johnny, another dance instructor. Tells him not to date any of the guests, so right off the bat. For a scene he goes, don't fraternize with a guest. Which we know Johnny's been doing. Because a lot of these ladies have been paying him, putting diamonds in his pocket. That's what he's saying, right?
Yeah.
To be with them, so sadly he had no money, so he did that. Later, Baby sees Penny and Johnny dancing. She's transfixed at how they move, especially Johnny.
At this scene, like the guy that she's with is like, showing off isn't gonna sell lessons, but like it just did.
It sure did, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it totally worked.
Yeah, it totally worked. You want the person, you're like, oh, man, they know how to dance. I want to work with them. Penny was like an amazing dancer. She must have been a professional dancer.
Probably.
Yeah, because she was really, really good. And of course, Patrick Swayze is like a professional dancer. He's good too. Later that night, Baby leaves the main cabin where they're having a magic show and a comedian. She ends up at the employees' quarters. When she walks in, she sees all the employees doing very sexy dancing. Dirty Dancing, the name of the movie. She stares at everyone and then she spots Johnny.
I like how the way she got in was just like watermelons.
Oh, yeah. Billy was taking 3 watermelons to the quarters and because he dropped one and she helped carry one.
But were they like taking the watermelons into the like place where they were all dancing or like taking the watermelons elsewhere?
They went there. I mean, she wouldn't end up at the quarters, right? I think they're taking it to the people dancing because otherwise he would have never brought her to that area.
But I think it's so funny that they're getting watermelons. Like it's not even like drinks or anything. It's just watermelons.
Watermelons are delicious. What are you talking about? Don't you love watermelons?
But like if you would think like, oh, they're having a secret like party. Let's bring them watermelons.
No, there's not a secret. That's where they live. They all party every night.
Yeah, but it's still like a secret.
You've never had watermelons before? They're delicious. They're great at parties. When you go to college, which is happily many years away, so you don't leave me, be careful of the watermelons.
Why?
Because they infuse them with alcohol. So
do they just like sit a watermelon in like a bowl of alcohol?
No, they pour. So they stab the watermelon with like a vodka bottle, and then it seeps into the watermelon, and then eventually the whole watermelon spiked. And then they cut it up and you eat it.
Because watermelons are like mostly water.
I guess. I don't know. I do know. You got to watch out for the watermelons. I don't think those were spiked.
They were just watermelons.
Or maybe they were going to spike them and that was step A in the party situation. I don't know. All right. Johnny finally notices her and calls her out to dance with him. He tries to teach her some moves. She does okay. But when the song ends, Johnny takes off and Baby's smitten. Kind of looking for him, but he was gone, right?
Meh.
The next day, Baby sees Johnny dancing with a guest named Vivian. Max asks about Penny. Johnny says she's okay. She's on break. Don't worry about it. He was covering for her. Neil really likes Baby and makes his move. He takes her to the kitchen and tells her she can have anything she wants. What kind of move is that, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, baby.
Eat.
Whatever you want to eat is yours, baby. I don't know. So weird.
At first, I was like, I didn't understand the whole Baby nickname thing. So he was like, what's wrong, baby? And I was like, ew, why are you calling her baby? Like, you're not even dating. And like, I realized like, oh, that's just her nickname. But I like didn't understand that her nickname was Baby.
Yeah.
For like the beginning, like half of the movie.
Well, in the beginning, she introduces herself as Baby, and people call her Baby. Were you not paying attention to the first 10 seconds of the movie?
No.
No. You were making popcorn probably or something.
Probably.
Just then, Baby, the character, Baby, not just a baby, not a little baby, sees Penny in the kitchen crying in a corner. Baby doesn't say anything to Neil and runs off to tell Johnny. Billy and Johnny go and get Penny and take her back to her room. Baby finds out that she's pregnant and that Robbie's the father, but he's abandoned her. Johnny's taking care of her because they're good friends. They all tell Baby that Penny needs $250 for a doctor to do a procedure on her, but she doesn't have the money. You know, it is ambiguous whether Johnny and Penny are together.
Yeah.
Because they're partners and he takes care of her.
But they're just really good friends because they're dance partners.
Yeah, they're dance partners and he takes care of her because Robbie's a creep that's abandoning her, right?
I didn't think that they were dating, but then when she was like, you need to stop, I don't understand.
Yeah. I think she's just trying to keep him safe and not in trouble. Plus, baby's 17, 18 maybe? She just finished high school. So she just graduated high school.
Yeah.
It's the summer before her going to college. He's in late 20s. You know, she's a little girl. So maybe he's like, hey, be careful. She's going to fall in love with you. Anyway, so they needed $250 for a procedure. Did you understand what that procedure was?
It was like an abortion, right?
Did you understand it, though?
No.
They never say the word. They never actually tell you about it. You kind of have to figure out context clues. This is 1963. This is before Roe v. Wade and before Roe v. Wade was rescinded. So abortions were illegal. You don't talk about it. You would go to a doctor, and they're not real doctors. These are people who just know how to do it, but they're very dangerous, very unsafe, very unclean situations. So they needed $250 to get that done. They never mentioned the word. It's kind of like a subplot that nobody wants to talk about. But it's in the movie.
Yeah.
And the movie's 1987, so you're looking at 36 years ago.
When everything was like all illegal.
Well, the movie, no, everything was legal in 1987. But in 1963 it was not. So the movie takes place in the past. But they never mention it. They always call it a procedure. And even when, well, we'll get to it. Even when the father says something, he says, that's what my money went to. He never said what it was for. But he realizes it being a doctor. The next day, baby tells Robbie to do the right thing, and he doesn't care. Then she asks her father for the money. He asks why, but she asks him to trust her. He does, and he gives her the money.
That would not pan out that way.
Like, I trust you and your sister $1 million. But if you're like, Dad, I need $1,000. And I'll be like, because $250 back then is a lot of money. Dad, I need $1,000. I'm like, why? You're like, you're just going to have to trust me, Dad.
No way.
You're just going to have to figure out how to get your own money. Like, there's no way I would do that.
It doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah.
Like, is this guy just stupid? And then he was like, is it anything illegal? And she's like, nope.
No, she's like, no, Daddy. Like, all sweet voice and stuff like that. So
I was like, is this guy a moron? Like, what is wrong with this guy?
maybe a very trusting time, 1963. I don't know. The age of innocence, that's what they call it. Anyways, he gives her the money. And she takes the money and gives it to Penny. But Penny says she can't take it because she has to do an exhibition dance show that night for another resort. Baby says she'll do the dance in her place, so that way she can go get her procedure. Johnny is not at all happy about it. He says she can't dance, but she's determined and gives it a shot.
Well, she doesn't even really like say like, oh, I'll do the dance. It was some other guy that was like, why don't we just have Penny take her place? It was some like guy's cousin or something.
Oh, that Billy maybe? Maybe
yeah.
Billy was there. Yeah, I don't remember who said it, but I know she wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Now, do you think she wanted to do it because she wanted to be with Johnny?
No, I think she just wanted to dance because she saw them dance earlier and was like, oh, that's cool. I want to learn how to dance.
Maybe.
And she always really respected Penny and was like, oh, you're such a beautiful dancer. Like, right. I wish I could dance like that. So I do think that she wanted to be like a dancer. Like
I think she wanted to be with Johnny. I think like Johnny's hot. I love it. I want to hang out with him all the time. And then we'll talk about the dance montage as her clothing diminished throughout time. The dance lessons begin. She's not very good and has very little rhythm. Johnny's frustrated and impatient. With more practice, she gets better and starts bonding with Johnny. They continue their dance lessons in the woods. There they climb onto a log to work on their balance. They begin dancing and having fun. Then they go to a field to practice the lift. The lift isn't working, so they decide to go to a lake and practice it there. She keeps falling on top of it, and it's starting to get romantic. They're starting to fall in love. It's funny, it's only like 2 days.
Yeah.
And it turns from angry frustration to love very quickly. Because he's super angry. From what I read, the actors don't get along. And a lot of that frustration was real. Because Patrick Swayze is like a really good dancer. And they even said that he had to tone his dancing down because he's such a good dancer. When she couldn't get it, or that one scene where she puts her arm up and he like kind of tickles her down the side and she starts laughing. That's his real face. Like, he's so angry. He's so mad that the actors can't get through this. Like,
that was like a real life thing.
Yeah, real life anger right there. I guess they didn't get along, the two of them.
So that wasn't supposed to be a part of the movie where she's like laughing?
No, it wasn't. But she's ticklish. And then, In the movie, she's young, but in real life, she's like in her mid-20s.
Yeah.
But I guess she's really silly and goofy and just started laughing. And it's ticklish. Someone touches your armpit. It's kind of funny. And he was so angry. If you ever watch that scene again, you can see he is really upset. And I'm like, man, Patrick Swayze is a good character. Like, no, he was just really angry. And they kept it in the movie because it's so good. The day of the dance is here. Baby's super nervous. They begin to dance and it's going well. The crowd seems to be enjoying it and cheering. Time for the lift. But it doesn't happen. They keep dancing and the crowd doesn't know any better. They finish and the crowd cheers. The dance exhibition is a success. They leave and Johnny starts to check out Baby dressing in the back seat.
It reminded me of a scene from like a Love Bug movie where like he's trying. It was a newer one where she was like a racer or something.
Oh, with Lindsay Lohan?
I didn't remember. But like she was trying to look at her, like the guy in the front seat, but then like the car wouldn't let the windows move.
Oh, like he stopped it?
Like the car itself was like not letting him turn the like mirrors.
That's hilarious.
So I remembered that scene.
If it's the one with Lindsay Lohan's Katie from Mean Girl.
Yeah. And she's also the girl from The Parent Trap, right?
Yeah, she's so good in that movie. I like The Parent Trap. Anyway, Johnny and Baby get back to the resort, and Billy tells them that Penny's sick. The doctor was a hack, and he actually hurt her. Baby runs to get her father, and he comes with his medical bag. Guy just had his medical bag with him. He's ready to go.
Yeah, he was just roaring to
he's on vacation, and he has a needle and medicine in there.
Yeah, like what?
He's ready to go. Maybe in 1963, doctors are always on call. I don't know.
I don't know, but like there's always like those videos like, look at how amazing this person is. A pregnant lady was on the plane and this doctor jumped up to help. Like the doctor has absolutely nothing.
I know. They have to be ready.
So I guess doctors just like carry around
their medical bag.
Their medical bag.
Yeah. Baby's dad takes care of, back before doctors would do home visits. So if people were sick, they would go to people's houses. You had to have a medical bag. Yeah. You can't show up with I left my needles at the hospital. I'll be back. Then they die or something. They have to be ready. Baby's dad takes care of Penny and glares at Johnny. He takes Baby home and he's very disappointed that she's hanging out with them and that the money went to what it did. He forbids her to see them again. Baby doesn't listen and goes to see Johnny that very night. She apologizes for her father and he says, forget it. Your dad's amazing. He's a respectable man. Something I can never be. She professes her love to him. And they do some dirty dancing and hook up. Inappropriate!
I think the dancing looks funny. They look like chickens.
They're chicken dancing?
Mm-hmm. With their head like...
Dirty dancing. That's good. I wonder if they got it from chickens. Like they're like, whoa.
That's amazing.
They're like, we used to the chicken dance, but that's not how they do it.
That's how the chickens move for real.
That's awesome. Next day, Baby goes to see Penny, and Penny tells her that her dad was just there. When Johnny comes in, Penny can tell that she and Johnny are a thing. Penny yells at him. He doesn't care. Because later that day, Baby goes back to his room. Man, more inappropriate. The whole movie, toward the end. It's all day, all the time. Her dad's a real good guy because he went back the next day to check on her.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, he's not mad at, like, Penny. Yeah. At all. Like, the whole time, he was never mad at Penny. He was always mad at Johnny and was like, you're a terrible being. I can't believe you did this to her. Yeah. Like, even though she would have been at fault, too.
Yeah. But Johnny it's the abandoning situation.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. If she would have told him right off the bat that it was Robbie, I think Johnny would have gotten the bad.
But I don't think that Johnny abandoned her. He's always with her, and he was always there for the pregnancy and all that.
That's a good point. He never really did abandon her. That's a good point. Or maybe the fact that he got her pregnant and then they ended up not having the baby kind of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. It's a good question. Why would the dad be mad at Johnny? Other than he might have noticed that Johnny and Baby were kind of... Because she was kind of... I don't know if she was holding his hand or holding his arm. But the dad saw them together.
Yeah.
Stay away from them, so... Or maybe like, oh, you get this one girl pregnant and now you're going to be with my daughter kind of thing.
Yeah, but he was never mad at Penny for anything or never really yelled at her.
Even at the end of the movie, he goes and talks to her and like, I don't know if he gives her a hug, but he's like being nice to her, like, sharing a moment. I'm like, the dad was a pretty good guy.
he just like cared for her to make sure that she was like safe and okay after like getting hurt by that random street doctor guy.
Yeah. Later, Baby and Johnny are flirting and dancing. It's a very famous scene in the movie where they're singing along and then they're kind of like dancing with each other.
Uh-huh.
That's a very cute moment.
And then like she's yelling at him for the moves.
What do you mean?
Like she was yelling at him, like how he was yelling at her before.
Oh, that's right. He's like, you need to. Oh, yeah, because he wanted to like make out.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, no, this is serious. Keep your frame. This is my space. This is your space, kind of thing. Yeah. Anyways, before he goes any further, Neil walks in. Fortunately, he doesn't suspect anything. And Johnny and Baby leave. Her father walks by, and then she hides to make sure he doesn't see them. Johnny gets upset that she can't be seen with him. Right after that, Robbie makes a snide comment, and Johnny and him get into a fight, and Johnny beats him up. That's the one thing where she hides, and he gets upset. Oh, you don't want to be seen with me?
Mm-hmm.
You just heard her dad.
Forbid.
Yeah, you're going to get her in trouble. It's so weird that he got so upset about that.
Because, like, she was already forbid from, like, seeing him, but she was still, like, making an effort to see him, and then she was, like, mad about that.
Right, it wasn't like she was ashamed of him.
He was mad about that.
Yeah, he was mad about it. She wasn't ashamed of him. She just was going to get in trouble if the dad saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back at the main house, Lisa is practicing for the talent show. Baby's there helping paint the background on the stage. Then she overhears Vivian make her move on Johnny for them to hook up. He rejects her, and she's very angry. Vivian's who? The poker player's wife.
Oh, okay.
Later that day, Baby goes back for some more inappropriate. Too much, Natalie.
Too much inappropriate.
Too much inappropriate. Anyways, after that,
You would think it would be rated differently, almost. Because it's of how, like, highly inappropriate
it's called Dirty Dancing. I guess. As long as they don't say the F-bomb, it's okay, remember? That's the rule. Anyways, as she leaves, she kisses Johnny, and Vivian sees them and gets even more angry. At the main hall, Vivian's husband's wallet is missing. She blames Johnny to get back at him, and he gets fired. Baby tells Max in front of everyone, including her dad, that it couldn't be Johnny because they were together last night. Her dad is crushed.
But, like, she still defended him, which is, like, the most important thing.
Right, and then we find out it doesn't matter because he gets fired anyways because he was with her. I don't know. This scene I didn't like either. They should have, like, done, like, some sleuthing, some mystery solving, and then find out who stole it. It was the Schumachers. We'll talk about that in a second. But the fact that she told her dad, forget about it. That's crushing. I don't know. I mean, imagine the poor dad. I mean, if I were her dad and we're at summer camp and you guys are still in high school and then you went and told me this, I'd be like, oh my gosh. Why would you say, I want to go to my room and cry for the next 6 days. So I don't know. I know you'll be young women eventually and you'll have your own lives.
But he was so depressed too.
Yeah, he was crushed because it was embarrassing. Not only the fact that his daughter is being promiscuous with some dude at the camp, but then everybody there knows about it. Yeah. Anyway, eventually Max finds out the thieves were an old couple called the Schumachers. Max still fires Johnny for fraternizing with the guests.
All these old people are like rich if they're at this summer camp. Why do they need to like steal other people?
No, I think they're fugazies. I think they're just there. Yeah, because they were doing it at other resorts. Anyways, before Johnny leaves, he goes to their father and tells her about how amazing Baby is. No, he's not having none of it. Johnny takes off. All right, the talent show is a colossal bore, but Lisa does a good job. Then Johnny comes back and goes on stage.
I feel like the whole Lisa thing was because the whole time they're like, wow, she's not good. Like, she's terrible. Like, I felt like the whole time they're like, oh, she's just kind of there. Like, she's not good. But I thought she was a good singer.
Yeah.
Like, they kind of made it like, oh, she's not the good, like, amazing sister. She's just, like, a bad singer.
Well, that song is kind of lame.
Yeah, but she still sung it well. I thought she was a good singer, and the whole point was like, oh, she's terrible. But she wasn't. She wasn't at all. I thought she was a great singer.
I think Baby is like the black sheep in the family. Lisa's the beautiful, smart, best one. And Baby's like the rebel. Yeah. She's the one that's going to go to the Peace Corps. She's the one who's going to try to change the world. She's not trying to be a housewife or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of how they made it. And then I guess they kind of make fun of that situation of that character by making her or be considered boring.
But like you would have think that they would have made her like a bad singer in the movie, like not have her do so well.
No, but she's perfect. perfectly beautiful and her hair's perfect and she should be able to sing perfect. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
she's the perfect older sister that baby could never be. But she doesn't want to be. She wants to be her own self, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, Johnny comes back on stage. He makes a nice speech about baby. And then he invites her up. They do their dance. And it goes amazingly. Lift and all. All the staff join in and everyone has a great time. Baby's father finds out that Johnny didn't have anything to do with Penny's pregnancy. And agrees that he was being too harsh. Baby and Johnny kiss. The end. If I were that dad, I would never be. I think I was being too harsh. No. My daughter's like 17, 18. You're 28. Stay away from her, you bum. That's what I would say. Okay?
Yeah. You creepy man.
You creepy old man. All right. Do you think this movie could be made today?
Yeah. Probably. I don't know if it would be rated the same though.
Oh, okay. You think they would have a different rating?
Yeah, I think it might be rated like R.
Rated R. Okay. All right. That makes sense. Anything you want to talk about? What you think would change?
I don't know. I thought that the sister's whole point was like, it was kind of weird that they were like, oh, she's ugly. Like, she's like not a pretty sister. And even the sister was like, you're pretty in your own way. But then like, they never had her do like a makeover or anything. Or like, they never told her like, oh, you're ugly, and then like she got any prettier. No, she was just like said that she was ugly, but she wasn't even ugly, and no one in the movie thought she was ugly except her own family, which I thought was like very strange. I didn't think it made sense for the story at all.
That she was the ugly one?
Yeah.
That one scene, yeah, didn't really make sense because she's like, you're beautiful in your own way, right?
Yeah, and it's so weird because she's like stroking her face like a cat and is like, you're beautiful in your own way. Like, this sister would not act like this at all. It was so out of character. And it was like, why are you doing this? This makes no sense.
Yeah, I think that scene would probably be taken out. Anything else?
Not really.
All right. Does it pass the Bechdel test?
Maybe?
I think that scene right there tells you everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. The Bechdel test, to test a check for female representation in a movie, there are 3 criteria. Criteria number 1, does it have 2 or more named females?
Mm-hmm. Penny, Baby, and Lisa.
Penny, Baby, Lisa. All right. Excellent. Criteria number 2, do they talk to each other?
Yeah, Penny talks to Baby a lot, and Lisa talks to Baby.
All right. The last question to the 2 named females that talk to each other about anything other than a man.
I think that she talks, that same scene where she talks to Lisa about her being like pretty in her own way, I think that could count. And I also think she gave the money to Penny and was like, here, you can use this. And she was like, no, I can't do that because I need to perform.
Right. Okay, so it does pass the Bechdel test. So there you go. Is there anything else you want to talk about Dirty Dancing?
No.
Thank you for tuning in to Papi Approved Movies.
If you like this episode, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcast app or like our podcast on YouTube.
We put on an episode every Monday.
If you want to see extra podcast content, follow our TikTok at Papi Approved Movies.
If you want to suggest a movie for us to watch and critique,
email us at papiapprovedmovies@gmail.com.
That's papiapprovedmovies@gmail.com. No spaces, no caps.
We'll try our best to get to your suggestion. And remember, it has to be PG-13.
Next week, Sophia will be back and we'll be watching The Breakfast Club.
And I'll be back in 2 weeks to watch The Dark Knight.
I'm Papi.
And I'm Natalie.
See you next time.
Bye!